Hey friends, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. Today I thought I would take you through all of our holiday decorations and just show you what we've enjoyed having up in our home this season. We went with kind of a white winter wonderland theme in the main living room, and I started off by creating just these little moments on end tables and coffee tables, mostly utilizing things I already had, like this ornament candy dish, my white vase that I repurpose from season to season, and the deer statues that I've had for a few years. But I did add this little rustic joy sign that I found at Hobby Lobby this year. And I like to do that. I like to take the things that I've collected over the years and just find new ways to display them. But it creates just a little moment here and over on another end table where we have to have our modem. I can't put it anywhere else. So we kind of hit it with this little moment again set up on just a silver plate with this cute little snow globe, kind of a stand that I found at Hobby Lobby. The bell is an antique. It's one that I inherited from my mom, and I can't even remember where she got it before that, but I just like how it all kind of came together there. I also had lots of ribbon that I had purchased when I did our tree, so I took some of the extra ribbon and I just created a simple bow. It's just layers of loops held together with some wire, tucked in a few bits of just some sparkly picks, and then attached it with a command hook to the corner of my mirror. I thought that turned out really nice. On the mantle, once again, I'm using the Feel Real greenery. I found this on Amazon a few years ago, and it looks amazing and holds up so well. It just has this beautiful drape to it. And I've got, I think, 6 of them kind of overlapping and layering here just to create this draping effect, kind of an asymmetrical look going down one side. And I like that because I have fairy lights through there, and it sort of hides the cord and where it goes into the wall. I also put fairy lights that are on a timer inside this tree. I believe this tree was from Hobby Lobby. It was a set of 2. And I added the fairy lights on the inside. At night, it just glows something gorgeous. It's so pretty. But it's on a timer again, so that way I don't have to remember to turn things off and on. And then I repurpose some things. The kind of white display in the back is something I've had for years. The wooden trees I got from a mixture of Hobby Lobby and Home Goods. But this deer statue is from Hobby Lobby this year, and I just love it. Then I created this display. I repurposed a vase I had, added in some poinsettia picks, and then just a mix of these sparkly silver picks. I mean, oh gosh, I think there's at least 10 picks in there, and I just tried to arrange them in a way that I thought would look really pleasing and create some balance to that taller tree on the other side of the mantle. One of our end tables we put into the corner here so I could create another little moment. This one has a mixture of items from Hobby Lobby, like the Noel sign, these acrylic deer from Home Goods. So they were a little bit of an investment. I think they were about $30 each, but I absolutely love them. So they're not glass, so I don't have to worry about them necessarily getting broken, but they are pretty heavy, and I love just the look they create. That tall tree you see to the left of them, that came from Target. It's actually styrofoam, and it only cost me like $5, but I think it looks great there. And then I just put some faux snow down around the bases and these rustic snowflakes that came from Hobby Lobby as well. Up above, I've taken off all of our normal pictures and created a few more little displays. This is a kind of an acrylic glass nativity set. This came from Target, and I put fairy lights under it. I'll show you what it looks like all lit up. But again, repurposing things. These white trees came from the Target dollar spot years ago. That deer from Target this year, and that taller white tree was from Home Goods. And then up above, I have things from previous years, I think from a mixture of Michaels and stuff I've inherited. But here you can see what this looks like all lit up at night. Again, the fairy lights are all on timers. And then let's talk about the tree. I love, love, love my tree this year. I can't get enough of looking at it. So this is a new tree for us. This is another National Tree Company tree, but this time I went with one that was a little bit smaller than my previous one. It also is flocked and pre-lit. My previous one was not pre-lit, which made for a big chore every year adding on the lights, but I really like this tree. I think it fits the space well. And when I decorate my tree, I always start with my ribbons. I picked out two different ribbons for the tree this year. One that's sheer with a little bit of a silvery swirl pattern on it, and the other one that's a solid silver, but I don't think that they're too overwhelming. And I purchased lots of extra ribbons so that way if I needed to, I could replace it throughout the years. This ornament, all of these ornaments really came from Hobby Lobby. They had a beautiful collection of white and silver ornaments, and I just kind of went to town finding ones that I thought I would enjoy having on our tree. Another thing I added were these icicles and little acrylic pieces. They had lots of these, and I love the way they catch the light and just look so pretty. And then decorative hooks. I had never thought of purchasing decorative hooks, but it really just elevated the tree. I mean, they're just beautiful, and they weren't expensive at all. I had several packs. I mean, not every ornament is on a decorative hook. Some of them are on just a regular hook like you see there, but it has just really added to it. Here's a few more of these acrylic pieces, and again, they just catch the light and look beautiful. Something else I added to the tree were cascade lights. So it looks kind of like a halo almost, and then it had about 20 strands that came down that thread throughout the tree filled with fairy lights. And you can set them to twinkle and to do different patterns. You'll see it better in some of the night shots, but it really does add to the tree. Now my topper. My son tells me that this looks like a Muppet head, but I love it. So I have floral picks that came from Hobby Lobby. I just stuck those in there at the base. And then these little hanging crystals actually came from the wedding aisle at Hobby Lobby. And then more of the silver picks. And it took some work to get everything worked into there. A lot of it's tucked up against the base of the tree and held in place with lots and lots of floral wire. But I like the look. I mean, tell me what you think. Like I said, my son thinks it looks like a Muppet head, but I like it, so I told him it's going to stay. Behind our couch, we start to kind of transition out of the winter wonderland and into more of my kind of nature themed Christmas decorations. So on top here, I do have these battery operated candles. I got a pack of these from Home Goods a few years ago, and they flicker and look very realistic at night. They just have a little switch at the bottom, so I do have to turn them off and on when I want to use them, but I like the look that they add, especially if we're entertaining. And I try to keep this somewhat simple because, well, we have cats and they're constantly jumping up and down off of this tabletop. Didn't want them to knock anything down. And then, as always, my Christmas village is on display, just things that I have been gifted or inherited, and a few that I've purchased over the years just to create a simple little winter village. I have a small 3-foot tree next to that table, and this is filled with all of my Nutcracker themed ornaments. So I added a little bow that I made just from some of my extra ribbon, and some snowflake ornaments, ballerinas, pieces we've gotten when we've seen the Nutcracker ballet, some that my daughter painted for me, like this little soldier one, and it's just a fun way to display all of those different ornaments. I just really like having little mini themed trees where I can. Now above it, if you saw my Christmas video last year, you might recognize this sign. I actually made this just using a roll of butcher paper from the dollar store. And what you do is you cut the length that you want, and you can curl it at the top and bottom. And I just put a paper clip in there to help hold it in place. There's a command strip holding it to the wall, and then the letters are just vinyl cut letters. And that did take an awful lot of time to weed out, but it's easy to store and use year after year. This is our dining room table. This is the setup we have for the majority of the holiday season, something simple. We'll do a fancier table setting for when we host on Christmas, but for every day this works. And what I like is that most of these decorations will actually work for the rest of winter. It's a fairly neutral setup. I have candlesticks that I've had for years, and then I don't actually burn these candles. I just use them for decoration, but I think they're super pretty. I think these may have been a Home Goods purchase, possibly a Hobby Lobby one. And then some pine cones and dried orange slices in that bowl in the center. Again, just something I can keep up throughout the winter. But I do have two trees that flank my china cabinet there. And I repurposed things from our main tree from last year. So these ribbons, I have a plaid, a gold, and a red. Again, creating a bow. So I have elements that are going to be the same from tree to tree, even if the color schemes and themes aren't the same. These are berry picks that, again, I used in our trees last year. I just saved them. And then all of the ornaments on these two trees were all from our larger main tree last year. They're all still in great shape, and I think they're just they're just beautiful ornaments. And I didn't want to not use them this year, so I decided to fill up these two trees with them. And of course, what would Christmas be without your cats coming and finding a spot to lay under your tree? I don't understand what they love about the trees, but my cats are always underneath all of our Christmas trees. Inside the china cabinet, I did leave some of the things I have year-round in here. I didn't take out all of my tea china, but I added some things to it, and some things I did move out to make some space. But I have this collection of cherished teddy statues. I have quite a few that are Christmas themed, so I have put those out along with some plates. Now, honestly, I have no idea where any of these plates came from. My husband had some of them when I met him. He didn't know where they came from either. And so I just added them into the display. I have yet another nativity. This one is the Cherished Teddy's nativity. And then down here in this bowl, I have these painted ornaments. Now, these all came from Pier 1, and they were gifts from my former pastor, and I love them. So I wanted to have them on display. And then a plate that Emma made at the pottery studio years and years and years ago. That was how she drew Santa for ages. Over here on our other kind of bookcase, I've just kind of continued that theme of sort of the nature elements and tried to create a little bit of balance, even though the decorations don't necessarily match from one side to the other. Things like these angels used to be on our mantle, and I've added in elements like picks and greenery. I have lots and lots of floral picks for Christmas, and I like to just pull them out and add them in different spots just to kind of fill up a space and add some little details. There's just a lot of things, over the years that I've collected that I love, and I don't want to necessarily not display them, so it's getting creative and trying to find new ways to show them. This nativity set I inherited from my mom. I love it, and above it, this floral piece actually used to be the centerpiece of my mantle for a very long time. It was a rather expensive piece when I first bought it. And you can see here, I have it kind of tucked along on either side. There are a few command hooks that you can't see on the shelf, and then floral wire that is helping to hold it up. But I like that it just kind of adds that little pop of color in the middle. And then again, just trying to repeat some elements or adding just enough elements to create balance from one side to the other. In our bathroom, we have most of our little Santa things up on a shelf, and my kids, we've outgrown the Santa bit, but we like to display them, and we found this sign at Hobby Lobby and thought it was funny, so had to have it. And then in the hallways, we hang hooks and stockings on everyone's door. This is in the kitchen. This is my large bookcase in my kitchen. I have quite the collection of snowman items. Most of them are very old. I couldn't tell you where I got a lot of them, but there are pieces that my kids made me, like that painted snowman. There is a little sock snowman that Ethan made me when he was, 4 or 5. So that has to be up every single year. And there's another, there's a cup here that Emma painted me as well. She made this, I think that was just last year or the year before at the pottery studio. We love to do things like that. And then we do have a tree in our kitchen, another slim fit tree. The tree came from Walmart. And again, repeating elements. So a bow on the top of the tree along with some berry picks. But this is the only kind of pink themed tree I have in the house. And it's not overwhelmingly pink, but I just wanted to try something different when I had made this tree last year and added in a bunch of kind of food elements. So pieces of gingerbread, there are macaroon ornaments, donut ornaments, there are some floral picks, because I think adding in floral picks is a great way to fill in your tree and add in just some cool visual elements. But this tree has been a lot of fun to have on display. I've got a sparkly tree skirt around the bottom I found off Amazon. But it's just a lot of fun, and part of me wonders if one day I'll just kind of go all pastel Christmas decorations in my kitchen, but I'm not quite there yet. If you watched the video where I shared our gingerbread recipe we use for houses, this is the end result. This is the house Emma decorated, and I thought she did a really wonderful job. I think it's just the cutest little log cabin, so I wanted to share that. Then in the kitchen, more little moments, if you can call them that, on display. The gingerbread cutting board, I think I found this at Hobby Lobby this year, and everything else I already had. Little houses from Target, little signs, just something that's pretty but not in the way when I'm trying to cook or bake. I took a plain wreath, added a whole bunch of bows and ribbons to coordinate with the garlands I have on top of my cabinets. Now there are fairy lights that are on timers worked into these garlands. They are not lit right now, but they do come on every evening around 4 and then stay on till midnight, so we have some light. And this is just a little wreath I found at Hobby Lobby, added a bow too. And then underneath here, another little moment, this one with more snowman items. This candle holder was a Yankee Candle purchase, I believe, from years and years and years ago, but I like it. We do need to update our Days Till Christmas sign though. Up above my coffee bar, I have this Joy sign. This was made at Board and Brush by Ethan. We took a class when he was, I don't know, 9 or 10, and so I always have to have that up. I think he did a fantastic job making that. And then all of these gingerbread houses you see on the shelves, I made these. They started off as either plain wood blocks or those paper mache houses you find at Hobby Lobby. I painted them brown and then used the white puffy paint to decorate them, and added in some color with the Candy Cane Christmas tree, my little kitchen gnome, and then just a little bit of that faux snow to kind of just make it look a little more like a little gingerbread village. And then I have all of my Christmas mugs. I probably have 20 at least, and a lot of them are in the sink right now, but I like having them on display and ready for everyone to use for hot chocolate or coffee. And then one more little moment made here in the kitchen with some greenery and a cutting board and a few little houses from the Target dollar spot. So I just have really liked how it's all come together. I hope you've enjoyed this little peek at our holiday decorations here at our home. We really did have a wonderful time putting it together and coming up with new ways to display lots of things that we already had, and then adding in some new elements here and there. I think that's just one of the best parts about Christmas, is decorating together as a family and finding new ways to enjoy all of these beautiful decorations. And then of course having quiet evenings at home, enjoying some hot chocolate and a Christmas movie under the glow of the Christmas tree lights is always wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video, everybody. I wish you all the very merriest of Christmases, and we'll see you in the next one.